Rapha, the God that heals us, Lord. You are El Shaddai, Lord. You are Jehovah, the great and mighty God, our strength. And Lord, we just thank you today. We thank you, dear Lord God, for who you are. Lord, we might not have the big house or the big car, but Lord, we have a car. Lord, we have a home. Lord, there's countries that people, Christians, oh Lord God, are persecuted. Lord, we are not persecuted here. Lord God, let us understand and let us see how blessed we are, and let us have faith to help our brothers and sisters that don't have. Lord, and let us show love, oh Lord, the love that has been shown to us. Let us forgive, Lord, as we've been forgiven. Let us be kind one to another as you have been kind to us. And let us lift up that name of Jesus. Because, Lord, your word tells us if Jesus be lifted up, then, Lord, you would draw all men unto you. Lord, help us to draw the young people. Help us to draw the seniors. Lord, help us to draw people to that precious name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And remember, there's a way out of your mess, people, and it's JESUS.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey, folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
To win in basketball takes a can-do spirit. So shave with Barbasol and inspire your team. Raise that red, white, and blue can and yell, "We can do this." If it doesn't work, you still got a great shave. Barbasol, it's a can of can-do.
If spring allergies keep you trapped inside, then you need Navage Nasal Care to keep you breathing clearly and enjoying all the beauties of spring. Navage helps clear nasal passages that are often clogged because of seasonal allergies. Navage gently flushes a pure, refreshing saline solution through your nasal passages to clear out congestion, sucking out that springtime pollen and other irritants trapped in your nose. Navage is available online at Navage.com or in stores at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, Navage.
When life spells heartburn, how do you spell relief? ROLAIDS.
What about when life spells spicy wings?
It's still ROLAIDS. Rolaids, powerful heartburn relief. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Rome, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
Well, here we are. Good morning, everybody. It's been a while since we just had an opportunity to sit down and talk, hasn't it? What's on your mind? What's going on? What's happening out there in the wild world? Have our little Clinton conversation. Anderson County's Ask Your Neighbor. That's what we've got going. 865-457-1380. 877-711-4005. And there you go. Phone lines open and available. Whatever it is you would like to talk about, whatever it is you have on your mind, whatever it is you would like to instigate some conversation about, that's what we'll do. But you've got to call me. If you don't ask questions, well, we don't get answers. You know, you don't have to ask a question. You can make a comment, share a recipe, something good that's going on with you, whatever you've got on your mind. This is the place to bring it. All right, let's get started. Phone lines are ringing, 865-457-1380. It's Ask Your Neighbor, finally Friday edition. Hi, WYSH. You're on Ask Your Neighbor.
Yeah, Ron, this is Rob down Olive Springs. I got a pacemaker in, and I noticed that I looked up on the phone or something like that. It said that these metal detectors, like you go in the courthouse, and they always check you and everything.
The metal detector?
That can affect pacemakers and also electric drills, too. I didn't know that, but electric drills and things like that can affect their pacemakers. Is there a way you can get in the courthouse without going through that?
No.
Metal detector?
No, not. You can't get in the courthouse. You can't get on a plane. You can't. I mean, there's a number of things that you'll have to go through metal detectors.
Yeah, they said that too. Yeah, airports and everything, all that metal detectors.
I believe I'd check with my doctor. And see if that's accurate. And if so, there should be an alternative way, to get you through safety steps. But
yeah, I know. I mixed military and things like that, infantry.
Yep.
And but yeah, I was looking at because I got that pacemaker in, and I was trying to keep them private or whatever like that, and $300,000 to get a pacemaker put in anymore. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's why I'm trying to figure out how you're supposed to go in there and get anything done in the courthouse if you can't, as far as permits, things like that, without going through that metal detector. I didn't know. But yeah, I didn't know if you knew about that or not. I started thinking, why don't they let somebody know if you got a pacemaker, don't go through the metal detector?
Well, because I don't think that's 100% accurate, or we'd have people dead all over the place, because there's lots of folks with pacemakers out there. But there probably is some kind of chance, you know what I mean, that it would do that. But like I said, call your doctor, and because if that's true, he should have told you when you put it in, you can't go through a metal detector, or it'll mess up your pacemaker. But I would call and check before I take it off online or something.
Yeah, they tell you can't do MRIs and things like that because you yank it out of your chest, I guess. But metal. Yeah. Like that, they did it. And but yeah, they tell you that, but they say, I looked up on the phone thing about affecting the pacemakers on metal detectors, and they said, yeah, it could affect them. Oh, yeah. Also electric drills, too, and everything. I didn't know that, Well,
I just looked it up. It is generally safe to pass through all metal detectors if you have a pacemaker. You should let security know before you go through, because your device could set off the alarm. However, it will not damage your pacemaker. A 2003 study found that standard airport metal detectors do not interfere at all with pacemakers, and that clinically relevant interactions are unlikely. The TSA also says that neither X-ray nor millimeter wave full body scans will affect pacemakers. If you're uncomfortable going through a pacemaker, you can ask for a pat down or call your doctor and consult your doctor before flying to get his or her recommendation. So yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. I didn't think that it did. I had a family member that had a pacemaker and went through metal detectors quite a bit. Did a lot of traveling. So.
Yeah, I know. They say you can also get a card from your doctor saying you got a medical device implant, like that I can carry with you.
I believe that's what I'd do if you were worried about it, and especially if you got to do a lot of business at the courthouse. I believe I'd apply for one of those if you're worried about it, if it concerns you. And I'm sure there have been, incidents happen to bring up all the questions about whether or not you can go through a metal detector with them. But they say the only thing that'll happen is it sets off the alarm, but it should not. Yeah. There you go.
They say you can't carry your pocket knife anymore.
How come?
Got to leave it in the car or something. You got to leave it in the car. It's illegal to carry it in the court.
Oh yeah, no, you got either leave it in the car or put it in the little basket.
Yeah, but they say you can't do that anymore. That you get.
No, they hold it. They keep it.
Take it to the courthouse.
Yeah, they keep it.
They hold it. They hold it for me last time, but they said you ain't supposed to have it in here at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure thinking, man, we used to carry them to school all the time.
Yeah, Dad carried his in there one time. Me and him went in and do something. He laid it down. They ended up putting it somewhere. They gave it back to him, but we had to wait on it for a little bit.
Yeah, they give it back to you. They just send it, they put it up in an envelope and they hold it for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty bad. You can't even take a pocket knife, carry one with you. I mean, I like carry my Swiss Army knife is what it is, and I keep that with me,
Yeah.
But anyways, I didn't know about that pacemaker thing. And
call your doctor and make sure, but I think you're okay.
all right, I'll let my cardiologist know and everything when I catch you what he says.
All right, let me know once you talk to him. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there curious. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Ron. I didn't know. I figured I'd ask a neighbor.
Thank you, Rob. You have a good day, buddy.
You too. Love y'all.
You too, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye. Good morning to WYSH. Ask your neighbor.
Yes, good morning, Ron.
Hi.
Thank you for everything that you do to help all those people. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to be able to when I can. I enjoy doing it.
Yes, and that guy, he should check with his doctor, but my husband's had a pacemaker for years, and it doesn't set anything off.
There you go. Good. Good deal. That'll make him feel a little bit better.
All right. I have a quick request. We have been listening to WYSH First Baptist Church for going on, and I know you attend there, and then since you're on the radio station, it's always been a week behind on the broadcast.
Yeah, that's the way they chose to do it. I donate all that to the church, and they once they record it Sunday morning, they send it to me, and we play it the following Sunday.
Right. Now, that's okay, but now they are doing replays, and for the last 4 weeks, they have played the one where Dr. Mark Prince came back to preach.
Well, let me look.
I wondered if you might check on that.
I put the new one in yesterday when I got here. So.
Oh, okay.
But there was there should have Let me see. I put a new one in on the 23rd, which would have been, that's Thursday, so that would have been, okay, let's see here. Let me see, because I put one in when I was at the beach, too. All right. The one, the 23rd, that should have been May 18th. We should have had May 18th play on May 25th, or excuse me, May 19th play on May 26th. And, you know, maybe, I hope it didn't repeat on the second, but I've got the second broadcast set to play for the 9th.
Okay.
So yeah, it should always be a week behind. I don't know. You know, I wasn't here for last Sunday, or if something had happened, it usually will alert. It usually will alert me. And I'm sitting here looking right now just to make sure. Right now, there's only one program that's in our system, and that would be from June 2nd. So that's the one that's going to play Sunday. I'm looking at it right now. But thank you for letting me know.
Okay, well, that will be fine. Well, we appreciate you very much, and I know you're proud of that son of yours, and I hope all of you had a nice vacation.
We did. I am. He graduated magna cum laude.
That's great.
Yeah, he's already been accepted into the Pride of the Southland band, going to UT to study astrophysics. He's going to be an astrophysicist, study the stars.
Maybe he and Josh Dodds can team up one day.
He can study the stars, and Josh can build the rockets.
That's right.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, Ron.
Oh no, thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me know. We hopefully, we've had a couple glitches in the system, but hopefully, if it was messing up, we'd get her fixed.
Okay.
Thank you, darling. Have a great day. You too, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, we're celebrating Trey's birthday. Well, his birthday was the 2nd. See, Trey was scheduled to be born. I never forget this. His due date was June 6th of 2006. 2006. June 6th, 2006. 666. And so we ended up inducing on June 2nd. So his birthday was Sunday. But, of course, I was on vacation. Then we got stuck there for an additional, 4 days. And I hadn't really got to well, he also went on a trip, kind of a senior trip. So we hadn't had a chance to talk or anything. So I talked to him yesterday, and he's going to come by the house today, and I think we're going to have some cake. Kids today, all they want is money. What do you need? Need some shoes? Nope, money. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. James David would always need shoes. He would always want tennis shoes. But for the most part, I always like to try and get them to get them something. Because money, yeah, I know that it's necessary. They need it. And Trey needs stuff for college, stuff like that, and we'll get him that. But I always like to try and get them something that they can keep, pocket knife, some little something, just to, because it's the birthday. But I don't have him anything this year. It's going to be card and cash, I reckon. 865-457-1380 or 877-711-4005. I'll take a break. I'll come back. I'll go to the phones, see if anybody has anything. I guess I picked a relatively good week to be gone because it was quiet. Obviously, there hasn't been a conclusion to the Anderson County School System's Anderson County Sheriff's Department Attorney General's investigation, or else if there is, they haven't announced it. We should hear something before, but if we don't hear something before on the 19th of the month, Russell will be here. But obviously, if there are results and conclusions to what they told me is now a criminal investigation going on, well, when we hear, we'll tell you. In the meantime, let's go back and talk to our friends and neighbors on the phone on Ask Your Neighbor. This is WYSH Ask Your Neighbor. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, Ron?
Yes.
I ain't believing what I heard on the news. I was watching the news.
What channel was you watching?
At first, they said Biden was going to pardon his son. And then he changed his mind. He said, come on there yesterday evening and said he's not going to pardon him.
Okay.
I think that is really something bad.
That he don't pardon him?
Yeah, he said no, because he was going to pardon him.
Oh, he'll pardon him. I guarantee it.
Yeah, he said he's not going to. I guess somebody told him, said that wouldn't be a good idea.
If you were the president and your son was getting ready to go to prison and you had carte blanche to pardon him, would you pardon your kid or not?
Well, not if he was doing drugs and stuff. I don't believe I would.
I'll tell you, I believe that he will.
I believe it too, even if he did to come back and change his mind.
I hadn't heard that he said he would pardon him, but I wholly and 100% expect it.
I heard that first start with yesterday on the news. I heard that first.
And again, anybody out there that's within the sound of my voice that's had a child that's had any kind of problems, whether they're run-ins with the law or problems at school or whatever, you do your best to deal with them, and you try to help them.
No, trash can.
I'm sorry. I was talking while you were talking. I didn't hear what you said. Go ahead.
Sorry. That one girl that was on there was riding with him. She said that he threw the gun in the trash can.
No, she threw the gun in the trash can.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah, and that was his brother's wife. When his brother died, he started sleeping with his brother's wife.
Okay.
And then she got nervous about the gun and took it and threw it into a garbage trash bin.
If he's going to do that, he ought to pardon Trump, too.
He won't pardon Trump. Trump's the latest conviction. I guarantee you, I will bet anybody out there, as long as you bring the cash and show you got the cash, I'll bet anybody out there, however much money you want to bet, that his current convictions will be overturned on appeal. There's just,
I hope so.
If it gets before a judge that knows the actual law, there were just so many mistakes made in the legal process.
I don't understand it anyway. What is it everybody else's business if he wants to hire him a prostitute? That don't make sense to me.
Well, here's the thing. It's, for one, the hush money or do not, non-disclosure agreement
Yeah.
I've signed a dozen non-disclosure agreements in my business life. Anytime you want to talk to somebody about, for instance, when I got ready to buy Preacher Mole's radio station, he didn't want anybody to know, his grandson did not want anybody to know that he was talking about selling it, because that creates unrest within the staff, and it's a problem. So we signed non-disclosure agreements that prohibited us from speaking to a certain, outside of a certain group of people. I've done that almost on every radio station I've ever purchased, or any business I've bought that's up and going. They're not just going to let you come in there and go through their books and everything. So you sign non-disclosure agreements.
Yeah.
I've done that a bunch of times. So when you want somebody to be quiet about something,
he didn't like. They said that they gave him every chance to defend himself. Every time he tried to say something for himself, they put a gag order on him.
Well, see, understand, too, if you take off all the political bias, let's just pretend all things were even politically. We know they're not. But they had to manufacture this new kind of evolved law where they take a misdemeanor. It was one misdemeanor that they said he committed 34 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Was all that for just the same one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just the way that they listed it and stuff. For hush money that his attorney paid Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
Because she accused him of having an affair with her, but then again said she just wanted money from day one, from the beginning. So, okay. Let's say he knew about that, or let's say that he did. Let's say he had an affair with her. I don't know. But for one, that's not illegal. It's immoral. It's not illegal.
Oh, I wouldn't think so.
Two, it's not illegal to pay somebody to be quiet about it. Yeah. Three, it's not illegal for broadcast companies or media companies to purchase someone's story, give them a set amount of money, and then they sign an agreement that they will not share that story with anyone. It then becomes that broadcast company's story, and they use it when or if they need it. Catch and kill.
That makes better sense. Oh, yeah.
But he, so that's what he did, but the way that it was entered into his books, they said was wrong. Well, he don't enter or do his own books. That's the first thing. So, that particular, I promise you, that particular conviction is going to go away.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
I've talked to 3 attorneys that I respect greatly.
Yeah.
All 3 of them. One of them, a very staunch Democrat, said he couldn't believe that it even went to the jury. The judge should have, it should have never been brought, and it should have never went to the jury. After everything was done, after everybody presented, the judge.
Them people out in New York didn't like him anyway.
Well, he shouldn't even have went to the jury. The judge should have called it. It should have been a summary judgment after he heard everything. They didn't make a case against the president. Not only that, under our Constitution, any criminal charge that you're tried on in front of a jury has to be unanimous. This judge told them it didn't have to be. They could pick from 3 different things. And as long as all of them agreed on one of the 3 things that he did, they could then come back and say it was unanimous, that he made some kind of mistake. But they didn't have to all agree on which one.
Well, I hope he hurries up and gets back in there so he can get us out of this mess we got in overseas over.
You know what? I agree with you. From your mouth to God's ear. People get mad at me for saying it, or they don't like because I say it. I let everybody that has a different opinion say what they want too. But, it's real simple for me. Go back and look how much gas was we'll just go back to, let's say, April 2020.
Yeah.
May 2020, June. Summertime traveling to 2020, you're going to be about $1.86, give or take.
Yeah, that's right.
And then now you're lucky if you get $3, $3.25, and that's good these days, And Joe Biden,
yes.
This administration decides they're going to cut off, any oil, gas production, the stuff that we're doing here in this country to self-support. You walk in day one and you unwind 93 executive orders that former President Trump made. You stand for 4 years and lie and say you can't You can't make an executive order to correct the border. And you try to lie about that as the President of the United States and lie about that and say it's Congress's fault when we have all these laws on the book that the current administration will not enforce. So why make new laws? That's just a lie. They're not going to enforce it. Then they open the border to everybody thinking they can flood these areas. What they're trying to do is flood the areas where these states are real close so they can get more immigrants into those states, those areas, those voting precincts to try and change so that it won't be closed and that it can get those highly contested states. I believe that's why he's doing it. The why doesn't matter. The President of the United States is in breach of our Constitution by not protecting our southern border. And guess what? All of a sudden, I guess maybe his dementia or Alzheimer's wore out, and he remembered he was the president and he can do an executive order.
There you go.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, I would trust my 14-year-old son more with the outcome of this country than I do that man and the people that work around him. Yep. I actually feel, well, I'm going to say that, but I'll keep my feeling, but it is the most incompetent. I mean, if it was my grandfather, I would go with him to the store. You know, Joe Biden doesn't look like he can make up his own mind about what door to go in. That's
right. That's right. I believe that. I believe it, truly.
And I would love to hear anyone tell me why. Well, for one, I'd like anybody to tell me how much better off they are than they were when President Trump was here economically. That's one thing. And two, please call me and tell me. And don't say because Donald Trump says bad words and hung out with porn stars. If you don't like that, that's fine. We're not hiring a preacher. We're hiring a president. But I would prefer, I would prefer a president that didn't have that baggage. But I'm not even sure that he does. I mean, he says it's a lie. I don't know. But even if he did.
I believe that we were in better shape when he was in there because we didn't have no troubles overseas. He told them how it was, and that's how it was going to be. And that's what everybody is afraid of. Yeah, he's going to go in there. He'll shut the border down. He said he's going to send these 8 million illegal immigrants home. Yeah.
He's going to pick them up, send them back, deport them. I think anybody that wants to come to our country can come.
Have a war over here, they would overrun us.
Well, there's 27,000 Chinese soldier-age men that came in just in the last few months.
Yeah.
What do you think China's sending guys over here for? You think they want to go to work at GM in Detroit? No.
And all them people that's come over here from over there where they're fighting at, why, they trying to start all of the protests and stuff here like they was doing over there, and they said that's why they left over there to get away from that.
Yeah, they leave. They say, oh, we're persecuted and everything over there, so we come over here, but now we want you to act like our country. We don't want to change to your country. You act like our country. Well, listen, we are a country, a hugely diverse country, and you can come over here and do whatever you want to do as long as it's legal, but that don't mean I have to do it. That don't mean I have to like it.
That's right.
So that's the way I see it. And if they don't like what's going on in our country, pick your bags up and go back to your own.
The best government I think we've ever had, I wasn't very old back then, but is when Kennedy was president. I think we had a good Congress and everything back then.
A lot of people reminisce about those days and miss them too, when folks could work together and they didn't like each other at all politically, but they would hammer it out for the betterment of the country instead of just the longevity and prosperity of their own party. We'll see what happens, pal.
Yeah, okay. Well, I thank you for listening to me, Ron.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm right there with you. I'm very frustrated. Very frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see how anybody can stand there and listen to a man stand for now approaching 4 years, point blank lie. He probably don't know what he's saying. They probably just tell him what to say.
I don't believe he does. I believe his Alzheimer's getting worse.
Yeah, he stops and looks at people like, some creepy old, he's just the creepiest old man I've ever seen.
He looks funny when you see him close, man.
But I just don't understand how anybody can say, oh, yes, he can't do executive orders. Oh, now he can do executive orders. He's right both times. I literally know Democrats that say he was right both times when he said he wasn't allowed to, and now when he says he can. Well, pick one. One of them's a lie. He either can or he can't. Guess what? He can. He knew he could then. He was just trying. He thinks we're dumb. Let's tell them idiot Americans that the president ain't allowed to do executive orders. They'll believe it and reelect me. No, we're not gonna. And you know what's going to be? It's just like when Trump beat Hillary. They said there's no way he could beat Hillary. She's been working this all her life. Well, he did. And guess what? He's getting ready to beat a 50-some-odd year Washington, cesspool politician out of the presidency. Watch and see. I say you'll probably see about a 9 to 13% win for Trump. And that will be probably the largest since Reagan's huge victory back in the 80s.
I hope so. I really do. In states he shouldn't be ahead in.
I talked to a Democrat yesterday that said that he said that he figured Biden wasn't doing an executive order.
You remember that lady he was running against?
Nikki Haley?
Yeah.
Nikki Haley, yeah.
Wants him to go after all of her voters.
Yeah, and he should.
Yeah.
So, people may or may not pay enough attention to know, but if you go back and look, Trump has a short memory when it comes to name-calling and arguing in politics.
Yeah.
I mean...
why'd they do that for? I mean, that don't make sense either.
Well, they throw everything they can to try and get traction to win. It's they say the means or the outcome justify the means. I don't necessarily believe that, but
there's a reason why they go into all that trouble to keep him from being in the office. There's a reason.
Well, I read somewhere where they spent $100 million better on a Senate race. The Senate pays you about $300,000 a year, 200 and some odd thousand a year. Now, why would you spend $100 million to make $200,000 a year? If that don't tell you something, if y'all can't figure that out, then we're just going to take the hand we're dealt. They do that for power. The power comes, and you become a Nancy Pelosi, and you become a multi-millionaire on a $186,000 a year salary.
That's hard to believe, you know it.
Oh yeah, I'd take it. I'll take the job if they give it to me.
Would.
I'm with you. I'm aggravated. If it does not show, I mean, how can you support the guy and go, yes, I believe you. You should not do an executive order. And then when he does it, turn around and go, oh, yes, he's great. He should do an executive order. That's just sheep. That's just blind sheep that aren't even looking at what's going on. Or maybe, if you don't have to go out and work all the time, I guess if you draw a check or you're on unemployment or you're on retirement and you get a steady amount of money coming in, well, your amount of money may not have changed coming in, but what you can buy with it has changed.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So it's, I don't know why anybody says, yes, let's keep him and see if we can run the country all the way in the ground.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, people...
I heard once that Biden's wife said if he run again, she was going to leave him.
I didn't hear that because she keeps saying, I think she's part of the fuel behind it, keeping him in there.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to keep the man up straight, walking and lucid.
And every time you see him, just about somebody's got a hold of him. I guess they're trying to hold him up, I reckon.
Well, I'm really... I don't say disgusted, but I'm really aggravated with the state of what's going on. And not just, when they asked Trump to go after and prosecute Hillary, he said no. He felt like she deserved to be locked up, but he didn't put us through all this. He could have she did for Benghazi. Guess what? If you can go back and charge a political politician for something they did, this was what, 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, when he did that. Well, guess what? I think that right as soon as they get the House and the president, they should go after her for killing people in Benghazi. Put her in prison for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
But that would just, you know what? That makes us just as bad as them. Except I believe she did it and he didn't. But that's the case. Or the Russian dossier. that Hillary helped create and pay for. Well, you know, they listed that as legal expenses, too, out of her campaign. Same exact thing, just a different thing. One was against Trump, one was to help Trump. To help Trump, they throw the book at him. To try and hurt Trump, they worship Hillary. Yeah, there you go. So that's, I mean, I'm frustrated with it. I hope, just because I've watched this president flip-flop and lie.
Yeah.
I would vote, you're going to think I'm crazy, I'd vote for JFK Jr. before I'd vote for him if I was a Democrat. I'd be ashamed if I was a Democrat of Joe Biden.
He was going to run, but evidently he's not.
No, he's running. JFK Jr. is running, and he says he's going to be on the ballot in all 50 states, and he has petitioned CNN, and I think CNN is going to allow him on the debate stage.
Oh, are they?
Well, the two main candidates, my understanding, has said no, but CNN put forth the requirements, and he says he meets them. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll step back and see. It's going to play out.
I guess you're getting ready to go home.
What's that?
I guess you're getting ready to go home.
Go home?
Yeah.
No, well, today I'm going to go home a little early because Trey's coming in. No, usually I'm here till 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. I've 12-hour, 13-hour days pretty normal.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm usually here. All right, buddy.
I didn't know when I talked to Jay last Saturday, and I didn't know that Merle's radio station was right there beside of you. I didn't know it. I thought it was over in Knoxville somewhere.
Well, I've got offices in Knoxville, and then I've got Praise over at my Knoxville office. I operate Praise, and I can operate Merle out of it. And then here in our Clinton office, we operate 95.9, our classic rock station. We operate WYSH, and we operate Merle out of this office up here.
Well, now, how did you manage being on the radio when you was over on the beach?
I took my laptop. I can record stuff from over there. I've got it set up. I've got a little portable studio set up that I can take with me and do stuff. Part of it I recorded before I left, but of course you can't record, what's going on.
Yeah.
You can't record the news and stuff like that ahead of time, so you got to do that stuff daily.
When I first heard it, I said, well, he come back off early from vacation.
No, we recorded some of it while we were there.
Oh, okay, then. I'm going to get off here, Ron.
See you, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Ask your neighbor. Thanks for hanging on. Good morning.
Yeah, how you doing there, Ron?
I'm good, buddy.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I mean, you got Biden, and I'd rather vote for Goofy than I would Biden again or anything like that. I mean, it's just the opposite of it's anti-American, really, everything he does. I mean, Trump, at least he had energy independence like that, I think, first time in probably forever.
Yeah.
And we didn't buy oil from Iraq and all them others over Iran and Russia and everybody else like that. Biden got in there and he wanted to cut all that out and start buying overseas again. That's what made everything go up.
And ask yourself this: why would you do that?
Anything against America is all I can figure. I mean, even make America great again is a bad thing, I'd say.
I think
how's that a bad thing?
I think about if you listen to me, you've heard me say from time to time, when you can do business with our sponsors or with our local businesses, please do business with our local businesses. You've probably heard me say Amazon's never given a dime to your son's Little League team like I have, or hundreds of businesses in our area do. So please try to do business with your local folks. Well, just think about if I just got on here one day and said, you know what, I'm tired of buying my cars from whatever car dealer, Ray Varner Ford. I'm going to start ordering all of our cars from our friends over at Hyundai in Korea. I'm just going to send them. I mean, you guys would get all over me. You'd say, no, you need to support Ray Varner. He buys advertising from me. He does this. But this administration just said we are no longer going to help out American energy. Hey, we no longer going to do that. We're going to help out
it's crazy.
Iraq.
Jobs and everything else like that. There's a lot of jobs involved in it. And, I drove truck for 30 years over the road there. I mean, whenever the price of diesel goes up, everything goes up in stores all the way across the list there.
And you do not
everything goes up.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. When you drive your truck from here to Ohio and it takes $1,000 last year, and you drive it from here to Ohio and it takes $2,000 today, guess what? The stuff inside that truck's going to be adjusted, and I'm going to pay for it when I buy it.
Right. And same way with all the corporations too, and everything, as far as like Kellogg's or anything like that. The more it takes to deliver it, like at the higher price they got to charge for that. All it does is make everything go up, inflation.
Yeah.
Like that, the more they got to charge for cereal, Raisin Bran, whatever it is, like that. So I mean, everything across the board goes up when they got to pay more money to get it there. And so the lower price on diesel they can get will be a lot cheaper in the stores.
Yeah.
Or should be, yeah.
Well,
man, that's just they just charge the customers more. Is all it is.
I'll put it to you.
They got to pass it down and make a business. Make it profitable.
I'll put it to you this.
Why they're in business if they can't make a profit?
Well, you got to. Yeah, we have to stay in business. But all I can tell you is this: I know what the 4 years under President Trump was like. I don't have to guess. I don't have to assume. I don't have to say this is what I think. I can show you in black and white, hardcore numbers, what the 4 years under Donald Trump was like for this business, the people that work here. I've got, I don't know, we probably have 20 or 30 employees. There's not one of them that those 4 years were worse than these 4 years. So take all the politics out of it. I just want things the way they were economically 4 years ago.
Yeah,
economically.
I agree with you.
So that's where I'm looking at. There are social issues and stuff like that we can sit and talk about all day long. But when you, in my opinion, purposely try to weaken the American economy and the Americans in order to hold power, it's like the old saying, they'd rather tear it down than relinquish the power. I think that's where we're at. So they're just doing everything they can. And this is not exclusive to the Democratic Party, too. I mean, you and I are Republicans, and therefore we see things through those glasses, but the truth of the matter is both parties are guilty of this. And I hope that when Trump wins, he does not charge Joe Biden for all this stuff. I'll tell you this, you're going to think I'm crazy. But if the president's son is convicted, I hope Trump pardons him. I don't think that we ought to be using the legal system to get votes. And that's what what Hunter Biden did is wrong. And, he should be prosecuted by it. But I think it's called sign and drive or something, where people that are using drugs sign that they don't to buy a gun. And it doesn't get as highly prosecuted as is happening right now, or certainly not as high of a profile case. A lot of people say if this was just an everyday person that did this, it would be a little bit different. And I'm not taking up for Hunter Biden. I'm just saying, as the president, for the betterment of the country, I think that if I were him, that's what I would do. I would do it probably at the end of my term, but long enough that, you could explain to people why you did it and, what the betterment of the country was for. Who knows? But people are going to think I'm crazy. But I would terminate all of this legal lawfare fighting that we're doing. Whoever gets in power, I'm telling you, if they keep doing it this way, if the Republicans just go in and unwind everything that Biden did, then whoever if a Democrat gets elected in 8 years or however many years, he just goes in and unwinds it. We need to get back to the Congress making law and setting it as law, where the president just can't go unwind it. So hopefully, because we're going to end up coming back to the same place if both parties keep using everything at their disposal and keep prostituting our Constitution, our legal system. They're all prostituting it for their own benefit, and their benefit is power. Trump, me and you, we identify with him. I don't know why. He's a billionaire, but I identify with him, and I feel like he don't want to use lawsuits for power. I believe if he wins, and I think he's going to win pretty dramatically, he'll have, if he wins by enough people, he'll have the horsepower he needs to get anything he wants done. If he wins by double digits, he can change the name of the state and people will be okay. He'll have the horsepower to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, I know. I was up there in D.C. for 4 years. Everything up there. And I'll tell you right now, 99% of the politicians up there do that disclosure thing like it, pay people off, not to say something about them.
Well, I think they said there were a couple thousand of them in Congress, that Congress has a couple thousand non-disclosure agreements right now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, not only that, but they pay people off because they might have stole something when they was a kid or something, and somebody said, well, I'm going to come out and tell that you stole or you hurt or you, I don't know, a bunch of stuff like that. You stole or lied and things like that about things. But yeah, they pay people off left and right. It comes out of their darn political things like that, or I guess personal accounts, some of them are. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy up there. I mean, they've had, they raped her or had sex with her, congressional aides.
Yeah.
Like that, all that up there all the time. I mean, it's everything like that.
I know. That's just disgusting. And they had pictures of those two boys, those two guys. One was a congressional aide. I think one was, I can't remember what his position was, but taking pictures of
whatever they call them.
Yeah, exactly. Taking pictures while in
it's all corrupt.
It is.
I mean, they're up there to make money. That same thing is like usually even a governor like that is $60,000. Used to be $60,000 a year, and they'll spend millions to get in office to get $60,000 a year for 2 years.
I know.
I mean, it's under the table. It's paid money. It's what they get after they get out. Now, if they agree with these certain corporations, like drug corporations, things like that, if they vote for them, then they get out. They get an honorary vice president like that spot. And they turn around and make millions of dollars a year, guaranteed the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, it's crazy. It's all corrupt. A lot of it is. They want Trump up there because he can't be bought off.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
they don't ever want somebody up there they can't buy off.
I was talking to somebody here a while back. Somebody inside the Republican Party approached me and said, hey, we'd like to talk to you about if you'd run for state rep. And, I listened, and then I started talking about how much a campaign would cost. And I said, wait a minute. Why would somebody want to drop that kind of money to be a state rep when you're only going to make, the stipend that they give, I think even with travel and everything, let's just say everything that you get to be a state rep, state rep, state senate, $30,000 to $60,000 a year. All right. Why would you spend $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to run for office to get something where you're one of hundreds? You can try and be a leader, establish yourself, and get something done, but the chances are you're going to be one of many. And so it's not like if you win, you can go in there and make immediate change. President can, but state rep can't. So I was like, why would somebody do that? It's to get there and establish power, and then you're able to get stuff done for yourself. But when you get into office, when you run for office, you gotta guarantee your backers that you're going to vote for them or help them out. I think it's unspoken. It's illegal for them to give you money to do them a favor, but if they give you money and then 2 years later need a favor, you're going to feel obligated,
Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I know that's all DC stuff.
Even if it's not illegal, you feel obligated because they helped you, There's a lot of times that people have asked me to do something. It wasn't illegal, but I didn't feel like I should do it, so I didn't do it. But if they'd given me $1 million for my campaign and they asked me to do something and it wasn't illegal, I would have to think about it and say, well, this is a big backer. This is somebody that helped me get here. Should I help them with this? It's not illegal. But that's how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know Bart Woolmeyer, he wanted me to run for Congress and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just got back from D.C. and everything. He wanted me to run for Congress. I said, no. He said, well, why not? I'll back you up and everything like that. He's big up in Morgan County, all that stuff up there.
Yeah.
And but anyways, I was over there. He had a congressman up there at the time. I forgot who he was up there at his party. But anyways, I told him, I just can't lie. I mean, I wouldn't make a good politician.
I get it.
I get it, because usually they have to lie about something, or I mean, that's what aggravates me, because when they run for office, they can legally lie to you and make promises and not have to keep them up. And not have to keep them when they get in office.
Yeah.
That's what aggravates me, though. And, they get out there, you don't know if they're telling the truth or lying,
Yeah.
But, I mean, you hope they tell the truth, but, there ain't many of them tell the truth anymore.
True. Absolutely true.
I mean, all we can do is hope they do, and everything, keep their promises.
Yeah. Well,
Trump always kept his promises, I know of. I mean, that's about the only politician. I mean, Reagan did and everything like that, and a few others. Bush is kind of questionable. I thought the Bushes were, but I knew the Bush Senior, but I didn't know Bush Junior much.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll let you get off here. I know you got to get off the air pretty soon.
Well,
I just want to bring that up. I'm all back for Trump. I mean, make America great again. I still don't understand what's so bad about that, but the Democrats all say, oh, no, mega, bad and all that stuff.
Well,
one good thing about Biden now, he's got them all together, that the Palestinians and the Rackheads and the, I guess you can't say Rackheads anymore. But anyways, the, KKK, the Black Panthers, the TIVA, Black Lives Matter, they're all on the same side now, against the Israelis.
Yeah.
And, that's neo-Nazis, the skinheads. I mean, how do you get them all on the same side? That's saying something,
Yeah, that does say something. How do you get all of those that are diametrically opposed to conservatism all on the same side at the same time? Hats off. I guess he's done it.
Against the Israelis. But anyways, I'll let you go.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. All right.
I love you.
Have a good day, my friend.
You too.
Bye. Just to let you know, some folks had asked a while. You remember when the stuff was going on about the books in the library, right? And Commissioner Anthony Allen reached out to me. I talked to him one day in the car. He was supposed to come up here and be on the air, and then the library issue morphed into the grade changing issue. And so, again, I was talking to Anthony Allen. He's supposed to come on. He's told me on, let me see here, April 15th. He said, I need to get my files in order. Look at the book. This is what you're talking about, the library. I need to get my files in order, the books and library book file, library board files. I want to come, when I come on, I want to be prepared. So, but I've tried to get Commissioner Allen to come on here because he has spoke. He pretty much has all of the I's dotted, I's dotted, T's crossed on the conservative view to the things that are going on with the library. With he kind of meshed the issue of the grade changing scandal and the pornographic books in the public libraries together, and saying it's a kind of cohesive demise of our morals and the people. And so April 15th of this year, we were trying to get him scheduled to come on. So we'll extend the invitation one more time, but we're already in June, April, May, June. So if we're gonna discuss that issue, especially the books, we might ought to do it while it's still an issue, or not. But so Anthony, if you're gonna come on, get with me here by Tuesday so I can get you scheduled. And let's either do it or let's stop talking about it. 865-457-1380, 877-711-4005. If you'd like to call in, weigh in, be part of what and it doesn't have to be politics. No. I don't even like to talk about politics. You hear what I sound like. I get aggravated. I get mad. I'm telling you, if you're a business owner, this presidency has absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, hurt your business. Yeah, I know COVID happened. I was here. And we were lied to about that, too. But take COVID completely out of the mixture. Just, if nothing else changed but gas and grocery prices, if you guys are okay with somebody that can ruin an economy in just a few months, I mean, you unwind 90-some-odd executive orders, and literally within days, you put thousands of people out of work on pipelines, thousands of people out of work in other industries just because you don't like it. I think the American people are going to show Mr. Biden what they do and don't like. I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. We'll see. It's 9 minutes after 11 o'clock. I promise you I'll sit here quiet for all of you that have the information and maybe the things we've overlooked about the greatness or the goodness of this presidency. I don't know. I can't. I mean, if I see something good, I like to say it. And I'm sitting here thinking right now of anything I can think of good about what this administration has done for anybody in our area. Not. But I'd love to hear from you. I doubt I will. I'd be ashamed if I was voting for him, too. But that said, I would like to.
This is Jim Miller with WYSH Local Information News. Remember, if you see news happen, email me, jim@wysHradio.com, or message us on the WYSH Facebook page. Each day, we bring you the latest in local news. David Aldrich, Captain Accurate, has your weather forecast, and Pete Michaels is in the sky with the traffic. So we've got you covered, and if you see news happen, let us know. Your source for local information news since 1960, WYSH.
As a homeowner, I'm always looking for peace of mind, especially when I have a costly, unplanned expense, like a cooling system repair or replacement. That's when I turn to the eScore Quality Contractor Network. They're the pros who've been specially trained and approved by TVA and your local power company. The quality contractors are licensed and insured, so you can be assured the job will be done right and inspected for free. Contact your local power company or visit energyright.com to learn more.
With skyrocketing home property values, now is the perfect time to make your home look great again. Pinnacle Home Improvements, your home exterior remodeling experts, will not only enhance the look and value of your home, your energy savings will be substantial. Protect your biggest asset with a new roofing system, new windows installed, or siding for your entire home. And now for a limited time, Pinnacle is offering 0 down payment, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months. Get a new roof installed, windows for your entire house, or new siding, and make it easy on yourself. Give your home that needed makeover with easy, affordable payments from Pinnacle Home Improvements. Call now, 865-465-9130. That's 865-465-9130. Or go to pinnaclehomeimprovements.com. With credit approval, conditions apply.
Picking a home improvement.
Bailey, it's Pinnacle.
That's what I said. Pinnacle. No.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Summer's just getting started, so fill your cooler with the smooth and refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. It tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. And with a 5% kick of alcohol, Twisted Tea is perfect for the beach, the lake, or wherever you're hanging out and day drinking with your friends. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
There you go. All righty. Well, we'll twist things up here and call it a day today. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Appreciate each and every one of you. We'll go ahead. Well, they're calling now, so let me go ahead and answer. Good morning. You are on Ask Your Neighbor. Hello?
Hello, Ron.
Hi. Yeah, you're on Ask Your Neighbor.
Yeah, I was just going to make a comment and then shut up and listen to your view of it. I think one of the first things Trump would do is help Putin to win that war against Ukraine.
Now, what makes you wait? What makes you think that? And what do you call a win? Destroying the entire country, taking over Kyiv. I mean, what do you call a win?
And those are some of the bravest people that I've ever heard of in my life.
What would be the benefit to you and me, or the United States, or anybody else in the world to help this era's Hitler? I mean, he's doing the exact same thing as Hitler did. He's trying to take over Europe. So why would you think any American would think that's a good idea?
Who's trying to take over like Hitler?
Europe? Putin. Do you think he'll stop if he wins here? You don't think he'll go on into Poland and all the other places?
No, I think we've got confused. I was talking about Putin taking over Ukraine.
I know that. And I'm asking you why you think any American would want to help Putin, who I equate to as bad as Hitler, win in Ukraine, because he'll go on to the next one.
Trump seems to like him awfully good.
Says who?
That's Trump. He said he's a great guy. He likes his ways, and
he said that he was a great leader in so much as the way that he led. He doesn't agree with the things that he does. But even if he did, even if he loved him, even if they had a bromance, why would he do something that would literally weaken our country by giving our enemy, Russia, power over us? I don't understand how people come up with that. It's like saying, you know what? If my kid gets cancer, he's gonna, I'm gonna help my kid get cancer. No, it would kill you, a kid. That would kill this country. And I don't understand how these talking heads think that one person, and for one, Donald Trump doesn't need their money. He doesn't need their money.
I know when he first got elected, I watched and I saw those Russians at their round table, a big old long table, toast their vodka.
So you just believe they were toasting Trump winning, or that they were toasting Trump winning, or that's just something that, because I could post a picture of me toasting and say I was toasting, somebody could post it and say I was toasting Satanism too. And you guys might or might not believe it without checking, but I don't believe that. I just don't believe it. How in the world can you want to make our country great and still want to help a country that's openly wants to take us out, China and or Russia, and now they've combined together? That is the talking points of the left to keep you from talking about how terrible this president's been. Let's talk about Russia instead of talking about Joe Biden forgetting his own name, his wife's name, his sister's name. Let's talk about Russia instead of talking about the highest unemployment. Well, it's starting to come down, but we had the highest unemployment under his presidency that we've had since what, Carter? I mean, he's a worse president than Jimmy Carter. Pardon me?
I go to Utah and I get a lot of stuff for like a whole month for $100, So
yeah,
that don't affect me, but.
Well, my point is, I think that both sides, they use these fear tactics because they don't want you, and I know you do look at issues, that's one thing, but they don't want us to look at issues. They want to scare us into Trump's going to become, they said this in 2016. They said if he wins, he'll never get out. He's going to start wars everywhere. Well, he's the only president we've had in my lifetime, and probably yours, that didn't have a war. The only president. But, of course, he's a dictator. He's going to cause a war. Let's not look at the facts and the history of what really happened. Let's scare everybody, and let's tell them what's going to happen because we are going to predict it. Or they're going to lie and set him up. That's what I think. But let's not look at the economy under Trump. Let's not look at, well, he didn't. He wasn't a dictator. No. He's not president. He didn't stay. He didn't change the law. He didn't make an executive order to change the law, did he? Remember, they all said he was going to do that so he could stay 10 years? It's lies. And when people just accept it, digest it, and take it in as truth, it becomes truth to them, and then they go out and propagate it to everybody else. But I don't believe for 1 minute Donald J. Trump thinks that it is in the best interest of this country for Vladimir Putin to be powerful. I will tell you this. I don't think Trump...
And I just hate also that he says he's going to let all those monkeys out that did that to the Capitol.
I don't think he'll let any of the people out that did violence to the Capitol, but did you watch when they released the 172 hours of it? Did you watch any of that footage where the police officers were unlocking the doors and letting the people in, even showing them where to go? Did you see that?
Yeah, I watched it.
So if you went up and said, I want to go in the Capitol, and a police officer opens the door and you go in with your protest sign and they put you in prison for 10 years, what'd you do wrong?
I don't know, but what I really watched was Trump sitting in that room watching it on TV for 2.5 hours.
I'd have still been sitting there watching it if it was me. I mean, I would have done what he did before he even sat down and went to sit and watch it. He told them to go protest peacefully in his speech before they left to go down there. Have you ever listened to the speech that he made before they left to go down? Yeah. And he says, go protest, but protest peacefully, no violence. So
we can't take our country back with peace. We got to.
Well, you can't. You can't. Okay, You're saying that he did all. For one, you're calling all of us that support him monkeys, the people that went to jail. Two,
no, the ones that were climbing up the walls like monkeys. That's not people that support him.
Well,
the ones that climbed up.
Of the 31,000 people that were there that day, or 41,000, I can't remember how many they said. There were thousands, or there were hundreds of thousands of people that were there for the inauguration. But I'm talking about the March on the Capitol. But the long and the short of it is, I don't think that he wants Putin to be stronger. You tell me how. You say, well, maybe that benefits him. Well, how much more benefit does he need? I mean, his great grandkids will still be more financially prosperous and have a better leg up than you and me and our grandkids just because of what he's accomplished in his life. He's got more money than the entire Senate and Congress put together. Did you know that? He has more financial power than the entire Senate and Congress of the United States.
And
so it would be like having it'd be like having one man that had all the money of the Congress and the Senate and all that power. So what else does he need? I don't understand it. He's already going to be remembered in history forever as the best economic president we had since economic revival, the industrial revival, and then when we came out of the 80s, after we got out of all the Jimmy Carter stuff and the inflation and got the economy back on track then. I mean, we came out of the gas crunch with Nixon and all that other stuff. I mean, it's the best economy we've had in years, decades.
I'm just really worried about Ukraine because I don't know if a lot of people know it, but he used to be a comedian.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, when he got elected, he was like one of the big funny stars over there.
Yeah, and had a movie where he played president.
Well, he got it done. He must have learned a lot in that script.
Yeah.
Because the people voted for him, and they seem to be backing him a lot over there.
I think the world of those people. I really do, because, they're just so brave, and they just take it like a grain of salt. Seems like.
Well, I don't think anybody should have to suffer through that. But I will tell you this. Before you go and point fingers at people, look at the splinter, the block of wood in your own eye. And we don't need to be, we need to take care of we need to enforce our laws on our borders and take care of our people and our veterans, and then reach out and help the rest of the world. We've got veterans sleeping on the street right now. I can drive you down and show them to you. They're in Campbell County, Anderson County, Knox County. They're all over the place. But we'd rather give an illegal alien can walk across our border today, be on the terrorist watch list. And if we don't catch him, we give him credit card and a phone. We literally took kids out of their schools so we could put illegal aliens in there for a place to sleep. while we had our kids go on remote education. That is BS. And anybody that thinks that that's right, ignore Americans, give money to illegal aliens, don't enforce the laws, then you're blind. That's just blind. We need to get our country healthy and then do like we have always done. As the strongest country in the world, help others. The only reason we're looked at the way that we are is because of our strength. The only reason we have strength is we had presidents that said it's peace through strength. We are going to be bigger than you, stronger than you, and we will crush you if you don't play by the rules. Nobody's afraid of us now. That's why you've got China, Russia, Korea.
You know everything that Trump done.
I don't think I know anything. I don't think.
For the border.
Pardon?
What did he do in his 4 years?
He built over 500 miles of wall. Do you know today, research this, do you know today that we are still paying the contractors that we hired to build the wall, but we're paying them the exact same amount not to build it? Did you know that?
Well,
we're literally paying them.
That, so they use tunnels if they got a wall.
Well, then you fill up the tunnels. So what do you think we should do? Just open it and let them come in? Do you leave your door unlocked at night?
No.
Well, then why do you think it's okay to leave our border unlocked at night?
Well, I'm just saying, what did he do in the 4 years?
I'll tell you what.
Other than build a wall, which they got around. You know, I've seen them even climb over it right now.
Gas was 71% less than it is. Groceries were 45% less than they are. Unemployment was...
know that inflation goes up, though. I mean, that was 2016.
Yeah, well, guess what? It from H.W. Bush through George Bush, right up through Obama, right up through Trump, you didn't see any drastic increases like that, did you? I mean, when we had our gas crisis on 9/11 and that happened, and then in 2008 when the banks went under, we had some financial turmoil then, but... Yeah, but you didn't see any of these drastic changes. The drastic changes came from the unwinding of executive orders that were working. Who cares who made them? When you stop something that is working just to stop it, it creates. I mean, it creates an effect. You know what I mean? Every action has a reaction, and the reaction to what he's done has been negative on every single person in this country. I can't figure.
I do admit that Biden is, old, and that he probably should not. But I think, this is my personal opinion, Hakeem Jeffries would be a good candidate.
I think he's well-spoken. I don't like his politics at all. I kind of feel like that he might, in fact, I know he would be easier to negotiate with because he could understand what's being said to him. But, I don't disagree. Well, let me back up. I've got friends. I probably have as many friends that are Democrats as I do Republicans, and I've had heated discussions with them, and we walk away friends. I believe everybody has a right to whatever they want politically, but it's just foolish to stick your head in the sand and go, oh, the high price of milk is not the president's fault. Oh, this is not the president's fault. Because if Trump was in there and milk went up 1 cent, oh, my God, it's him. He's terrible. He's this. He's that. He's going to kill us. I'm surprised I didn't try and pin COVID on him yet. But, it's not a political thing with me at this moment that I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about the economy. And they unwound things that were working, and they only did it because he was the president that put it into effect. You know how I know it? Because Joe Biden is putting it back into effect now. He lied. If you like a liar, then vote for Joe Biden, because he's lied to you for 3 years, told you he couldn't do an executive order. They come out yesterday and announce he's going to do the executive order to work on the border. So which time was he lying? When he just did it, or when he spent 3 years telling you he couldn't and he undid what Trump did? And if you guys want...
I was told that it was up to Congress.
Well, it's supposed to be up to Congress. They are supposed to pass laws. Then the Senate is supposed to, do their thing. But we've not had that done in a while. But the president made the executive orders. This president unwound them. Now he's putting them back into effect because he's ruined, or on a fast track to ruin the country. So, which time was Joe Biden telling the truth? When he said... he couldn't do anything about the border. He couldn't do an executive order. He unwound 93 plus of Trump's. But now, yesterday, all of a sudden, an epiphany, and he can do it. If that, you know what? People would ground their kids for lying like that. So, and the truth of the matter is, our government, our politics, hold our well-being in their hands a lot of time. Not necessarily on a federal level, certainly on a local level, but I mean, take that and only that. Everything tanked, and he said, "Oh, I can't do anything about it. I'm just the president." Congress has to do it. And because we have a Republican Congress, he spent 3 years screaming on Congress hadn't done any work. And I agree with him, they hadn't. But still.
Okay, one more quick thing, then I got to go and take care of stuff.
Go ahead.
Mike Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Was not letting that go through to help Ukraine, and I believe that was totally Trump.
It just got through to help Ukraine, didn't it?
It finally did, but it short.
Well, then he let it go through because he's the Speaker of the House.
And Russia was, really taking advantage of that. So
how?
Probably hurt them pretty bad. But anyway, I'm going to get busy here. I was just going to listen to your opinion about Ukraine because they mean a lot to me.
I think that all sovereign countries, especially our NATO allies, we should be prepared to help them. But this is just common sense for any human being that's ever run a household, had a job, did anything. If you are not strong enough, healthy enough to take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody. When you fly on a plane, what's the first thing they tell you if the masks fall? Put a mask on your child first, put your mask on you first, so that you don't lose consciousness, then put it on your child. You know why you do that? Because you are doing what's right, and you need to keep yourself healthy to protect your children. It's the same thing with this country. It's the same premise. You need to keep your children, your country healthy to help Ukraine. We can't let 8 million people, 10 million people in 4 years that don't have jobs, and they're going to, when they start cutting your Social Security to pay for the illegal aliens' abortions, you'll have fun with that, I bet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, dear. You have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye. I told you I don't like to talk. It gets me all wound up. You know what? I think we should help the world, every single one that needs it, as long as we can. And saying we can don't mean borrowing $1 trillion from China. And I don't know. How many of you out there have a loan, car loan, house loan, whatever? What happens if you keep borrowing to pay that loan? Sooner or later, you're not paying a loan, you're creating debt. That's what we're doing. We're creating debt every day. Somebody's going to call that note one day. It's going to be China. What do you do? What do you do not to pay it? Oh, you go to war? No. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? When they feel like that we're weak enough, you watch and see if they don't make a move toward Taiwan. And it will be based a lot off what happens with Russia. Do you remember when Joe Biden, they said, hey, what are you going to do if Putin invades Ukraine? Depends on what type of invasion. Joe Biden just said, hey, Vladimir, go on in. As long as you don't do too much damage, we won't do it. It depends on what kind of invasion, if we would get involved. What the president should have said is, Vladimir Putin, if he wants to remain in office, he will not invade, because we will do everything within our means to stop or prevent it. And when the first tank rolls over that line, all rules are out the window. Everything is fair in love and war. Vladimir Putin just numbered his days. If it were me, and I was the president of these United States, and I don't doubt this is already going on, I would probably just say, we as the United States are going to ask Russia to leave Ukraine. And if they don't, we're going to take whatever steps necessary to unseat the leadership in Russia. I think all you'd have to do is say it, maybe put a few more embargoes on some things, convince some of the other countries that are still doing quite a bit of business with Russia to stop, and you could bring a pretty quick end to this. And I've heard people say, well, they need to let Russia have a piece of the land. No. We don't get a say in that. That's between Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine says, nope, you're not getting any of our land. Then they don't get any of their land. And I'd say, Vladimir, you need to go home, one way or another, either home to your office in Russia or home to see your maker, because one of those two things are going to happen. That's why I'm not president, because I don't have enough sense. Good morning. Ask your neighbor.
Hey, how you doing there, Ron? I got a couple of common sense things, okay?
Okay.
One thing, Russia and Ukraine got into it before. And then
they've been into it for years. Under Barack Obama, they took part of Ukraine, and he let them have it.
Right, and that's only on one cause and everything. That's if Russia never went into Ukraine again. And Russia promised they would never attack Ukraine again, and they did.
I know.
Okay.
But everybody loves Obama, even though he wouldn't do anything about it. He let them have the land for a promise.
Yeah.
The United States of America will not penalize you, Vladimir, if you promise never to do it again. He said, okay. So we said, all right, you can have it. Go on. Kill them, take them, get what you want. So he did. And then Trump comes in. Boom. Man, everything went quiet. They didn't try to do nothing while Trump was in. Then Biden comes in. Man, he's not been in hardly at all. And they're moving right up to the front lines. Going to take more.
Yep. But anyways, another thing, question I had was millions and millions of guns in this country. I got no problem with that. January 6th, they said it was the insurrection. But nobody carried guns to go up there against them. And nobody meant any malice back. I mean, that's what it used to be. If there was actually an insurrection, don't you think everybody'd have guns?
Yeah, you can't. There, in the history of this country or any insurrection in the world, has not been carried out without weapons, and in modern history without firearms. Yeah,
right, but yet the Democrats got to say that it's an insurrection.
Well,
I understand that.
Well, they should not have broken into anything. They should have marched around the Capitol. They shouldn't have went in. They shouldn't have went in aggressively and destroyed stuff. If somebody came into if somebody's mad about my broadcast today and they decide to protest out in the driveway, have at it. But if you come in my building, that's a whole different level of protest, and you'll probably get shot. Or, if you come in trying to hurt me.
I always heard that the Capitol building was a people's building.
Well, it is the people's building, but the people don't get to tear it up. It is our building, but we don't get to burn it down just because it's part mine. So there are people that should be held accountable. Look, we got bad eggs in the Republican Party. You know that just as well as I do, just like Democrats do. And those people should be held accountable. But people that were up there marching, and even people that just went through the Capitol. I mean, there's video of the police.
That broke in the window. I thought there was a part of TIVA.
Well,
that's what's crawled in there too.
Well, again, I think that you'll find out. In fact, I'm positive that there was a plan to send violent people in there that were completely against Trump to start the melee. You know what I mean? It's like the crowd, one follows the other. They got it started, and then again, the people that broke the law, the people that broke things, I am totally okay with them being prosecuted. People that were marching, people that were just marching, carrying signs, I don't think that they should be prosecuted. Hindsight 2020, I doubt any of them will prosecute inside of a federal building again, but we'll see.
Yeah, I remember that one scene where they was walking calmly through the commons there between the ropes.
Yep.
The security guards on both sides out there just watching them walk by.
Yep.
I don't understand. Then all of a sudden, I guess one went outside the rope and went over there like that. But, but there for a while, everybody's walking right along. Now they just watching them. Everything like that. You open up the front door, nobody tries to stop them. Of course, I think it was, I forgot who it was there. The one that was, I can't remember who it was now, Nancy Pelosi or one of them there like that. Didn't need no National Guard there. We didn't need no police protection or anything. Leave it wide open like that. So I think it's all staged. I think like that, a lot of it was, Ron. I think it's just
Yeah.
Make it look bad for Trump.
Yeah. I agree.
But anyway, like I said, they would have carried weapons or something like that. I mean, it's no problem to get weapons out there between Lincoln and the Capitol building, Reflection Pond and all that through there. I mean, I had a federal permit to carry a weapon too and everything like that when I was up there. But like I said, it just, it don't make no sense that they'd call it insurrection without guns.
Yeah.
With all the millions of guns around, you think, hey, if they intended to do something bad, they would have carried guns with them.
Well, they called it that just so people like you and me would be repeating it over and over and over. Insurrection, insurrection, insurrection. When you hear that sounds bad. Protest.
Yeah.
When they say, hey, they went to protest the election, that doesn't sound bad. When you say it's an insurrection and they tried to take down the Capitol. They were going to kill Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence on a cross. No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were safe.
Well, they
believe me, they'd be the first one out the door.
It's exaggerated simply to get people to respond. And again, you remember stuff like insurrection, a protest, not so much.
Yeah, I know it. That's what's that. I was wanting to bring that up about the gun thing. If it was an insurrection, you need to carry the guns.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Yep, you need it.
Take care.
You too. You need guns, I think, or weapons for an insurrection. Obama's theory on Ukraine is simple. This is from President Obama, or a writer about Obama. And I'm going to tell you about this here in a second. I'm going to tell you how we got to where we are today with Ukraine. Obama's theory is simple. Ukraine is a core Russian interest, but not an American interest. So Russia will always be able to maintain escalatory dominance there. Obama said, this is a quote from President Obama, the fact that Ukraine, which is a non-NATO country, the fact is that Ukraine, which is a non-NATO country, is going to be vulnerable to military aggression. Now, when the President of the United States says that, you don't think that that's a green light? Well, Vladimir Putin did. He walked right in, took what he wanted. Then Trump came in, and he sat like a little baby quiet for 4 years. Richard Dearlove, the former head of Britain's MI6, observed the policy that Barack Obama followed in 2014 when there was this initial Russian invasion. The way that he handled it, with the benefit of hindsight, was a mistake. The decisions made in the Obama years aren't just something to observe through the rearview mirror. Those policies continue to exercise a major influence on the course of Russia-Ukraine war and have resulted in the unnecessary loss of tens of thousands of civilians and military personnel. So if you really want to get back to it, where did Russia come up with the idea that America had dissolved into this nation of wimps and weak-stomached chickens so that they could go and take a sovereign country over? I mean, Ukraine, they broke off. The Soviet Union turned into, it all split up. They did their thing. Russia decided they wanted it back. But the people of Ukraine said, don't want to be back. And the people get to decide. So what in the world would convince them to do that? President Barack Obama did. And so they had to wait till they get him back in office with Joe Biden to finish their job. And if you're happy with what's going on, I'm going to tell you two things. If you think this president is doing a dandy job, take your door off, your hinges, your front door, and I will give your address out, and we will let all the folks here the illegal aliens here who don't have a place to go, come stay with you. We will open your border wall. That's for, Seriously, if you don't you think? If you agree with it, it's not right to say, oh, it's not happening to me. It's happening down in the border states. Did you see how quick stuff started changing when they started sending those people up to Maine, New York, Chicago, New York. Criticized for closing the border. Then got mad and Chicago's wanting to sue the government for sending people up there. Well, where do you want them? You want them in the country. You just don't want them at your house. I don't see how anybody can say, oh, yeah, that's great. I want to support that party. Ask your neighbor.
Hey, Ron. Hope you're having a good day.
I'm having a real good day.
Yeah, I heard on the news this morning where President Biden is in France, and he's met with the Ukraine president, and he pledged another $15 billion for their services. At some point, I mean, this Putin is a madman.
I agree.
They keep putting pressure on him. He's going to nuke somebody.
If they keep putting pressure on him or they do not put pressure on him?
Keep putting pressure on him.
So if they keep defending themselves, he's going to go nuclear? Is that what you're saying? I'm missing your point.
Well, I think Putin will use a nuclear weapon against Ukraine. It's coming down the road.
Well, what do you think he would do if we told him if he used a nuclear weapon on Ukraine, we'd kill him? You think he'd still do it? Because that's what they need to tell him. They need to say in no uncertain terms, if you don't leave or you do something drastic like that, we will remove you from power by whatever means we can. And if we said that, if Donald Trump said that, they'd listen. If Joe Biden said that, they'd laugh at him.
Absolutely.
Joe Biden don't even have the phone number to get to launch the bombs. I doubt they let him carry the codes. But I'm sorry. But that said, I agree with you. He is a madman. He's delusional. He feels like it's his. I don't know why he feels like he's the restoration of Mother Russia. But that said, I feel like that there's only peace through strength. And the only reason we don't have peace right now is because we are perceived as not being strong. I worry whether we are or not. Are we a strong country or are we not? What do you think?
We have the most powerful military in the world, but I don't think we have a person in charge of it to use it.
I agree on both counts. I'll tell you something else. I talked to a military guy once, and this is what he said to me. He said, Ron, I wish they wouldn't send us into war with one of our arms tied behind our back. We go into these wars that we try to fight a humane war. There's nothing humane about war. This is what he said to me, and this gentleman was pretty high up in the military. You'd know him. If I said his name out loud, you'd know who I was talking about, but I won't. But he said that we should never involve ourselves in a war that we are not 100% committed to win at any cost. And if it's not important enough to win at any cost, then it's not important enough for the American people to shed blood for. And that made a lot of sense to me. If you're going to send our young men and women to fight, it should be all out with everything we have. I think everything should be on the table from day one. If we put everything on the table, people wouldn't be so emboldened to do it. But we send people in and say, you've got to be nice. You've got to use the correct pronoun when you speak to people in the military. You got to do this. You got to do. No, you know what? They're warriors. Send them in there with bombs and guns or threaten to drop bombs on them, whatever we got to do. If they don't listen, follow through and drop a couple bombs and see what happens. Oh, Ron, you're going to start World War III. I don't think so. I think if they were afraid of us, they'd leave today. They're not afraid of us. We either need to decide that the Ukraine is in our best interest and make a absolute statement of fact of what we're going to do to protect them, or we need to let them fend for themselves. It's either important enough for Americans to die for. Treasure and blood is what we're giving. Is it that important? I don't know. If it is, let's go get them. Because with the strength and the might of our military that we have, it wouldn't take long. But we don't. I don't want to be at war with anybody. And I know I've heard people say Trump would negotiate with Putin to keep part of it in order to bring peace. I remember growing up, and if y'all grew up in Sunday school and you went through Revelations, you understand how a lot of this stuff is going to play out. I mean, I don't think there's ever going to be peace between Palestine and Israel. Ever. There hasn't been since, Cain and Abel.
Well, if you read the Bible, all nations will turn against Israel at some point.
And that point is upon us. I really believe that you had a bunch of Mideast countries come out and say, they support giving Gaza the state. Separating them. They are all coming out. A lot of the countries are coming out against Israel, and I don't know what kind of humane or inhumane way they are fighting this war. I don't know, and so I'm not going to weigh in if they're killing people the correct way or not. I don't know how you do that, but I will tell you this: if they flew paratroopers over, let's say Texas, and dropped a couple of thousand people in there and took out 2,000 or 3,000 people, raped children, cut their heads off. I don't think we would sit around and wait on another country to tell us whether or not we could do what we wanted to do. I don't think Israel needs our permission. And I think if they're our ally, we need to back them. And if we're not going to back them, then go ahead. Turn your back on them. It's prophesied in the Bible it's going to happen anyway. It might as well be under Joe Biden. He's torn up everything else. But
speaking of Joe Biden, the only chance this man has to get reelected is he would have to pardon Donald Trump. And I don't think it's going to happen.
I had a conversation with a guy the other day, and he said if Joe Biden was smart, he'd pardon him and say, go ahead and prosecute him all you want. I'm going to pardon him every time because I'm going to beat him fair and square. And that, you're right. That would take a lot of people that were on the fence about him and change their mind. But he won't do that.
Enjoy your conversation. Have a good day, Ron.
Thanks, sir. Bye-bye. Yeah, we're living in some strange times with regard to politics. But, and I get aggravated. I'll tell you this a lot. It's easy to sit here and shoot my mouth off behind a microphone. If I was a guy standing there sending our boys and girls to war, or I was the guy that had my button on a nuclear bomb, it's a lot different than sitting here talking to 6,000 or 8,000 people and spouting opinions. I know that. I think anybody that's had to deal with, hard times and hard situations know that these decisions are not easy to come by. Certainly when I've never had to make a decision on someone's life before. I've never chosen whether to send somebody into a situation that could kill them or that probably would kill them based on, my hardcore political stance. You need to think like I do or go fight and die. It's a lot more difficult. It's easy to sit here and get worked up for all of us. But the truth of the matter is I just, I'll take out all the disparaging, aggravating comments that I have for what's going on, not just in the executive branch, the judicial branch. I mean, Congress, I can't find anything good about anything in Washington, D.C. But here, as I said, I'm going to simply say this. If you're better off today than you were in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, I would love to hear how you did it because I'd like to try to as well. And I encourage you to keep on keeping on. But if you didn't, like I had to have my car fixed while I was at the beach. And luckily, I was able to find somebody that I trusted to fix it. And when they first started looking for the part, parts have went up so amazingly that at first they said it was going to cost about $900 for this part. They ended up finding it for a lot less. But my point is, guess what? Those parts have went up so much. You know why? Because everything's went up because of inflation. Everything has went up. So if you're okay with that, keep on keeping on. But if you were better off, I would encourage you to figure out why you were better off. And I don't care if you like the man, if you like his personality. I don't care if he hired hookers or not. I'm worried about me, my kids, my community, my schools. I want what's best for that. And when it comes right down to it, everything was better under the previous administration. They were afraid of us. A lot of people say, well, yeah, they were afraid, Ron. He's a crazy man. I don't care why they were afraid. They were afraid to commit evil because they didn't know what Trump would do. They know exactly. I mean, Biden told them what they'd do. Barack Obama told them they weren't an American interest. Barack Obama said, Ukraine's not even a NATO partner. Go get them. And Putin did. Trump came in, shut it down. He didn't shut it down. It was already shut down, but he made sure they didn't restart. He leaves. It just takes a few months, and they're right back at it. If you think that's good, keep voting. I'm preaching to the majority of the choir here today. I know Tennessee's going to be red. Anderson County's going to be red. I don't necessarily care if it's red or not. I've always voted for the man or the woman for the job. But, hey, if you're better off, you put that Democrat button on, you wear it proud, and you vote for Joe Biden and, you know, bring some of those illegal aliens in. Y'all can, you know, bed 13 or 14 of them down at the house there with you, and we'll send you some more, and we'll figure out a way to get them their government checks and cell phones and cigarettes and all the other stuff they need. See how many, you know, sex trafficking charges come out of it and fentanyl. And if you think that's good, you just keep right on with it. As for me, I'm ready for things to be like they were under the Trump administration. I think that it's going to be like a bull in a china shop on steroids with him getting stuff done. Because when he went in there last time, he was as befuddled about federal politics as you or me. I mean, he was just a business guy, a successful one. He didn't know all these politics, all this stuff, but he does today. He had 4 years as president, and then he's had 4 years of being the #1 presidential candidate in the country. So he's been the president for 4 years. Then he has been, I mean, he's been tied or led with Joe Biden on a rematch since Inauguration Day. I told my wife on Inauguration Day, if I'd have been Donald J. Trump, I would have made an announcement on Inauguration Day that I was going to run in 2024, and then flew my big Trump jet out over the crowd as I left. That's just me. But I don't know. I'm really trying to think of anything that's better today that wasn't then. Somebody's going to say, oh, COVID. Well, we didn't have COVID in 2018, 2016, 2017. They hadn't even made it in the lab then before they let it loose, or before it got loose. Well, maybe they had made it. I don't know. Hang on. I'm getting ready to wrap this up, but let me take this call first. Hey, you're on Ask Your Neighbor. Go ahead.
Ron, I want to change it just a little bit, but first I want to agree with you.
Well, thank you.
100%.
Well,
100%.
Thank you.
I agree with you. I hate to talk politics because I get mad too. And I get very mad.
I do too.
But anyway, there's something I'd like for you to look up sometime.
All right.
All together. But you remember Paul Harvey?
Yes.
I was listening this past week. I had to take a week off for work for sickness, and I was bored out of my tree. So I listened to some of Paul Harvey back in the 60s, 70s, and all back in there. Paul Harvey, I did not know till last week, was a Baptist preacher. Didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
and I'm 71 years old. I should have known it, but I didn't. But there's one I want you to back up and I want you to listen to, and it's
okay.
Free. He comes out with this commentary thing, and if I were Satan, and this is for the future, and he talks about our prisons being over-flooded. He talks about building new prisons. He talks about our government turning their back on the government and the people.
Yes.
And, I mean, it is scary of the things. He talks about a wall. This is back in the day. Paul Harvey was a smart man.
Oh, extremely smart.
But it is so realistic. It's scary. And we ain't seen nothing yet. If we don't get some help from a supreme being,
amen,
we're done.
Hey, you know what? Hang up and listen. I'm going to play that for everybody. I've got it.
Have you got it?
I've got it.
You play that dude. I'll be listening to it.
I'm going to kick it.
I want to tell you something. It's scary. Our prisons, our schools, things that's happening in our schools, teaching them sex and teaching them it's all right to have sex before marriage. It wasn't in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s.
I know.
It ain't now.
Yep. I know.
Our parents there's a lot of our parents at fault. We got too much fast action and let our kids run wild, do anything we want to.
Amen.
I didn't get to leave my until I was 17 years old. I worked in the cornfield and I worked at home. I didn't run all over the neighborhood and stay with every neighbor in the country.
I got it. Yes, sir.
If you play a man, if they can tell me that's not realistic, and that's from back then, and he says, if I were Satan, then listen what he would do.
Okay.
Let's look at the United States of America.
All right, my friend.
I appreciate you, brother.
No, I appreciate you, and I'm going to play this right quick. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. It's 3 minutes, 17 seconds long. I've heard it before. He's right. Go ahead. You might even want to record it or something to hear it, play it for other people. But I'm going to play this. I'll come back, and if I got a call, I'll take it, or I'll wrap it up after this. But this is the audio that he's talking about from Paul Harvey. And I want to say it's 65. I can't remember exactly if it is 65 or not. Hang on.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves.
Amen.
Until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Paul Harvey. Good day. 1965. That's pretty impressive. You think about that, right?
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd engulf the whole world in darkness.
Exactly.
And I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States.
Think about it.
I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of the serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve. Do as you please.
Think about that. Do as you please. If it feels good, do it. 1965, Paul Harvey came up with that. Said, keep doing what we're doing. We're doing a whole lot more now. I think somebody looks into the looking glass, if you will, whatever, and sees that destruction in 1965. It was going on, but it was minuscule compared to what's going on today. It's 5 minutes after the hour. We're going to go ahead and call it a day. You guys enjoy yourself. If I offended you guys, I don't apologize for what I believe, but I apologize sometimes if I get. And nobody's got on me today. I just don't want to. I get excited sometimes. I shouldn't use the word stupid and some of that like I do just when I get aggravated. But I really do get aggravated because Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter. When you've got things going well, I think it's just. It's just a shame, a crime to destroy something to make it the way that you want it. You know, in the military, they say they break young folks down to build them back up. I feel like that this administration felt like if they broke down everything, then they would change it and build it back in the way that they wanted things. And it just isn't the way that they want things, the way they've built it back, isn't working. You know, you can take a motor apart and try and put new parts on it to make it go faster or whatever, but if it's not done right, one little slip up, one little mess up in that motor, and it won't work at all. And I think they've messed up something. I think we're not hitting on all pistons. Things aren't working. So what they've built back is a mess. I'm ready for somebody to come in and tear it all down and put it back like it was. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We had the wheel. We were making money. All we got to do is go do what we were doing. And that's what I hope we'll do. Right now, I swear to my great goodness, I've got so much to do today. Having a Trey's birthday party here in about an hour and 50 minutes, so I got to get moving. If I get in trouble for being late to my son's birthday party, I'm blaming y'all. Thank you so much for listening, putting up with us, and I hope that you'll ask your friends and neighbors to listen. I hope when you disagree with me, you will say you disagree with me. You're welcome to call. You're welcome to come up here and sit down. You know, I always tell people I got an open door policy for all of our politicians, everybody, really. Because I like to learn new things, and sometimes I'm wrong. Oh, hell yeah, believe it or not, I've had political inclinations and realized, not really, no, that's not good. Somebody showed to me. Enjoy your day. Hang out with us. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. If there's anything we can do to help you guys have a better day, we're just a telephone call away. 865-457-1380 or 877-711-4005. Okay? It's 12:08. We'll get you rolling into some music. And have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12, or listen live.
Over in my brand new home. And you know, if you got your sins under the shed blood of Jesus, 6 feet under ain't no big deal for God's people. Listen as we do it for you.